Welcome to Muskoka Estate Talks, here with Idan Silelnikov. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. Today I want to talk to you about some of the biggest mistakes that sellers make when they list their homes. Stick around, I'm going to go one by one to show you what mistakes not to make. Of course, one of the biggest mistakes that we can make is overpricing the home. Always study the competition, look at what your home has that other homes don't, and price accordingly. If you make the mistake of overlisting, you will detract buyers and they will not even come to look at your house. Next biggest mistake is not adjusting to the market conditions. If after 2, maximum 3 weeks, you are not getting any offers, it's time to adjust and lower that price. If you keep dragging it on, your house is going to go stale on the market and you will not sell. The next big mistake we have is people underpricing their home. Yes, underpricing. They underprice without an actual strategy to bring in multiple offers. If you simply throw your price too low, it does not necessarily mean that people will come spend their money on your house. People might think it's just cheap, and cheap is not good. No, but really, cheap often is associated with not good, poor quality. So we have to make sure we're pricing strategically. Moving away from pricing mistakes, let's talk about basic maintenance and repairs. Would you walk into, a Ferrari store and throw $500,000 on a damaged Ferrari? No, of course you would not. You want that sparking clean new product. Same thing when you're talking about your houses. People are spending $500,000, $2 million, $3, $4, $5 million. They want to make sure it's in great condition. It's very reasonable to expect that when those buyers come to spend their hard-earned money, they're going to be looking at little things like drippy faucets, cracked floors, and peeling paint. So just make it look pretty right from the start and sell quickly. A big mistake we make is skipping staging. I realize that it comes in expensive, but staging your property is like giving that Ferrari a nice clean wax. It needs to look, otherwise people don't want to cough up the money, they want to fall in love with that product, especially when they work so hard to get it. Another common issue is that people leave all their personal items out and they fail to declutter. When people walk into their homes to view it, all they see is your stuff everywhere. Stuff that they can't get out of their heads, and therefore they cannot visualize themselves living there. Look, first impressions matter. So we gotta make sure that curb appeal is top notch. Make sure your lawn is kept. Make sure your front door is not peeling. Make sure everything looks great externally, because that customer who's walking through the door has likely already made up their mind of whether or not they're going to buy your house before they even saw it. What I mean is they saw your fantastic listing, they were impressed, they showed up, your grass was all tidy, your driveway was clean, your front door was freshly painted, you don't have any roof shingles missing. Well, you know what? That customer just got the reassurance that they wanted, and now they're really interested in your property. Realistically, they've already decided whether or not they're going to buy it. So please, no unkept lawns, no peeling paint off your front door and windows. Let's make sure it looks great. I feel like this part should be obvious, but please use a good photographer. Make sure you don't have blurry photos or photos with very poor lighting. Another common issue we're seeing frequently is using poor photographs to advertise your listing. Much like having an amazing curb appeal where that consumer stands on your driveway and knows they want to buy your house, this is very similar to that. We need to make sure that your listing stands out amongst the rest, especially in today's market. Your house needs to stick out and you need to convince that buyer that they want to buy your house. Choosing the right realtor to sell your house is crucial. Be sure that they use a trusted photographer that they've worked with in the past and they know the quality of their photos. The last thing you want is blurry photos or photos with not enough lighting. Remember that curb appeal? Same thing here. We need your listing to stick out amongst the rest. We want to create internal emotions on that customer who sees your house. Ideally, we create fear of missing out because that home is too nice and they rush to their realtor saying they want to see that house ASAP. Another issue I see frequently is failing to highlight upgrades in the properties that buyers want to know about. Highlight everything about that house: the hot tub, the sauna, the custom kitchen, the custom lighting. I will highlight whatever I need to sell that house. Your realtor should do the same. Sell, sell, sell. We're not just posting photos on MLS anymore. We need to actually sell the house. Talk about the features it has. Talk about the garages. Talk about the land. Talk about the fantastic neighbors. Talk about the amenities in the area. Talk about the water access. Talk about the property. All right. So your realtor is awesome and they did everything I suggested. good job. You probably got a sick realtor. A frequent problem realtors see is when the sellers become emotionally attached to the process. Sellers who take negotiations too personally can reject reasonable offers or refuse to make small concessions when they are due. Rejecting early offers may be a mistake. Sometimes the first offer you get is the best offer you get. So don't discount the first offer you get thinking that you'll get another one. You may not. And the last thing I would like to mention to you is underestimating the fees at closing. Oftentimes, buyers and sellers don't recognize the amount of expense that actually has to go into closing the transaction. The house price is one thing, but there's additional fees to pay, especially if you're a buyer. Things like the land transfer tax in Ontario can really get expensive real quick. Well, my friends, that's all I got for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in to Muskoka Estate Talks with Idan Silelnikov. I am a realtor here in beautiful Muskoka, and if you have any real estate needs, please reach out to me.